Okay, Michael, so let's see if we can work together to deal with this minor trifle of a problem that you've observed with my cool new algorithm. Okay, so here's some data. It's a graph. You see, here's a y-axis and here's an x-axis, and each of these points represents a house on this map, which I'm cleverly using in the background.
Aha.
And you'll notice that each of the dots is colored. I'm going to say that red represents really expensive houses. Blue represents moderately expensive houses, and green represents really inexpensive houses. Okay.
Okay.
So
Where is this?
where is this? Oh, this is Georgia Tech, as you can tell, because it says Georgia Tech.
Oh, I see it now.
Okay. So here's what I want you to do using machine learning. I want you to look at all of this data, and then I want you to tell me for these little black dots whether they are really expensive, moderately expensive, or inexpensive. But I want you to do it using something like the technique that we talked about before.
Okay.
So let's look at this little dot over here, which, by the way, I want to point out this little black dot here by the U.S. Post Office underneath the rightmost E over here is not a point in our database. But I think by staring at this, you might be able to come up with a reasonable guess about whether it is moderately expensive, expensive, or inexpensive.
Okay, yeah, I think this is a helpful example because now I see that it does kind of make sense, especially in this context, to think about the geometric location as actually being a really useful attribute for deciding how to label the new points. So that black point that you pointed out is in the part of a neighborhood that has a green dot in it, like the nearest dot to it. Seems like a pretty good guess as to what the value of that house might be. So I'm going to guess green.
Yes, and I think you would be right. And I like the word that you used there. You talked about its nearest neighbor. So I like that. I'm going to write that down. Neighbor. Okay. So I'm going to look at my nearest neighbor. Well, let's see if this works for another point. Let's look at another point that's near an E. Let's see the first E over here. This little black point over here. What do you think? If I looked at my nearest neighbor, what would I guess?
Yeah, this one seems really clear. It's surrounded by red. It's in the red part of town.
So you're guessing the output is then purple?
No, I'm going with red.
Yes, and I think that makes perfect sense. So this is pretty cool. I have a point that's not in my database, but I still, by looking at my nearest neighbor, can sort of figure out what the actual value should be. So there, we have solved the problem.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty good rule.
Yeah, just look at your nearest neighbor and you're done. There. So, boom. There's nothing else for you to do.
Yeah, except that you didn't do all the houses yet.
Okay, well, what did I miss?
The one in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm wondering if maybe you did that on purpose because this one has some issues.
What are its issues besides being too near 10th Street?
Well, yeah. Apart from that, it doesn't really have any very close neighbors on the map. So the closest that you get is, I don't know, maybe that red one.
Maybe.
But I'd be very wary of just using that as my guess because it's also pretty darn close to a blue point,
Yeah.
and also not so far from the green point.
That's a good point. So this whole nearest neighbor thing doesn't quite work in this case when you've got a bunch of neighbors that are saying different things and they're all kind of close to you. So any clever way we might get around this?
I would say move the black dot to
No.
no.
No,
Okay.
no, we're not
All right,
allowed to do that. We've tried that before.
It seems like it would be helpful.
No, there are federal laws against that sort of thing.
I was gonna say, yeah. So, all right. So short of that, maybe we just need to look at a bigger context.
Ah, that makes sense. So you're saying my little nearest neighbor thing sort of worked, but the problem was I started out with examples that were, very clearly in a neighborhood, and now I'm in a place where I'm not so sure about the neighborhood. So I should look at more of my neighbors than just the closest one.